everybody. Welcome to the Elizabeth Jones's Variety Hour.
Hello, 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 and welcome to spring.
Yes.
Finally. You know, it was
Yeah,
really cold
finally,
yesterday. It
yeah.
was rainy and everything.
Yeah.
I had to turn the heat on.
Yeah.
I had to sleep with my feet outside the covers last night. It was so. I said, I'll be damned if I'm bringing those cold things in where I'm warm. I'm Kaye Lazar. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm no. Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see
I
you.
don't get too many compliments lately.
Yeah.
If you ever want to be humbled, read the comments section of your Facebook page
Yeah.
post.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like constant boo.
Boo.
The good thing is that it's a good thing. A good thing I don't. We don't have an audience.
Yeah.
There's a picture. There's a cartoon that's on the internet. It's very funny where George and I are running and these people are like with torches and pitchforks and everything. Because that's the last time we do this show in front of a live audience. It's one of my favorite cartoons that I do on
Yeah.
Facebook and everything. Let's see. I have so much to tell you. Tell me what you have going on.
I have a talent show coming on Saturday
All right,
at 6 o'clock
at 6 o'clock
at Fox 5 Cabaret Theater.
in Hopewell.
Yeah, if
Yes,
you guys want to come, you
yes.
can.
I know a little bit about this show. I heard it's free.
It's free.
So you get what you pay for when you come to the show.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fundraiser, and
Yeah.
so can we get a little preview? What are you going to do? There, you going to do juggling act or magic tricks? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna sing and dance. I love you, a bushel and a peck, and hang around the neck, and the barrel in the heap.
Wow.
That's what I'm
Very okay. Now that I've heard it, good night. I don't have to go now.
I just gave you a little sneak.
Good. You didn't sing the whole song. I mean, you didn't sing the whole song. Go to the show and you'll hear the whole song. I love you, a bushel and a peck.
Bushel and a peck, and a barrel in the heap.
I think we should learn the lines, lyrics before we go up there.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually. Have you ever like forgotten lyrics to a song?
Sometimes.
I have, and then I just sing like a chorus again, or I start like singing just scatting. Da da.
Yeah.
In fact, Louis Armstrong, I understand, invented that type of singing, scat singing, which a lot of people like Ella and people became popular. Mel Torme by because he forgot the lines to a song. But let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And I think I said this once before on the show. It's easy to scat sing. It's like humming. Why do hummingbirds hum?
Yeah.
You know why hummingbirds hum?
Because they're made that way.
No, because they can't remember the words. No, anyway, that's what I've actually made. I don't think it's all that hard to do that. A lot of things you think seem great but aren't all that hard. I told you once that I was in a dance thing, a dance production, and we're all cheerleaders, and I was the smallest guy, so I got to be at the top of the pyramid, and do that. And once I got to the top of the pyramid, everyone cheered.
Yeah.
Like I did something. I did nothing. It was the guys under me.
Yeah.
Not only the guys under me, the guys under them that were pushing the next to the group.
Yeah. And next I'll be in Shrek.
You'll be in Shrek. Okay. Tweedle.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that as it gets closer. Yeah. Now, I heard something really cool about you. Is that true that you have? We always talk about your dogs, but your dogs, something happened.
We had two puppies.
Two puppies.
She had two puppies 4 days ago.
Now, who's she? What's the puppy's name? What's the dog's name?
Polly.
What's the female dog's name?
Polly.
Okay, so Polly had 2 puppies,
Yes.
a litter of 2.
Yes.
All right, all right, and
They're really cute.
yeah.
They're getting big already, so.
Didn't you think of fixing them?
Well, we were just planning on breeding them anyway.
What? You
We
gonna do what?
we were breeding them anyway.
Oh, raising them anyway. Okay.
Yeah, breeding them like
Yeah.
breeding.
Oh, you're breeding the. That's a business now. Okay, I didn't know that. You can't breed a fixed animal. Let me tell you something. We had a cat.
Aww.
We had a cat that had to get fixed, and it was a calico cat. And the calico cat, it was a male cat, and we took it to the vet, and they were all set to do the fixing of the cat, and they said, we have the wrong. You should have told us you had a female cat. I said, we don't have a female cat. It's a male cat.
Yeah.
It's a calico cat. It's a rarity. It's like a mule. It's a rarity that a calico cat, which is those 3 colored cats, they're pretty much always female. So so my mom turned to me and said, "Didn't you know that this cat was a female? Can't you tell that whether the cat's a female or not, or male?" I said, "Well, this is what I said. I said, Mom, a cat schmeckle is not that big, so I just assumed it was a male." My mom said, "Schmeckle." It's a Jewish word. She'd never heard it. Schmeckle is another word for
Yeah.
what a male cat has.
Yeah.
So, which means they can't have kids. They can't themselves have kittens.
Yeah.
But I was so that's what I had to do. Well, it's great that you're starting a business now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not really a business, but we're just we got a girl and a boy dog
Yeah.
to breed, so
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, and I think you probably heard this. I feel like Bob Barker. uh, don't go to a pet shop for your animals.
yeah.
I mean, for your dogs and cats. I mean, you can buy hamsters there or goldfish there, but,
Yeah.
but don't buy because it's better off going to a shelter. There's plenty of dogs and
Yeah.
cats around there. So I didn't really ask you, how did you get your animals? Your dogs.
We had we went to a puppy breeder.
Oh, so there you go. You see,
Yeah.
it just begats itself. Not like
Yeah.
the Bible.
I do like going to a shelter to get puppies,
Yeah,
but you might not get the one you want.
I know.
So
Also, sadly, a lot of those animals
yeah, I know.
are can be troubled. I've had friends who got, you don't think of you might think of a dog as being vicious, but you don't think of a cat being vicious. But then they've actually gotten vicious cats, and they had to bring them back. I can't, did I ever tell you I'm barred from getting cats from a shelter?
Oh.
There's a reason why. A friend of mine got a cat from a shelter, and she brought it back. Okay, so then because the cat was violent, or I don't know what the cat scratch,
Yeah.
and so what happened was they so then maybe a year went by after this event, and
Yeah.
then she wanted another cat. She wanted to try it out again.
Yeah.
So she says, I can't get it, but can we put it in your name? And
Well,
I said, sure. And then
yeah.
I'll take care of the cat. I said, fine. So a week after she got the cat, she brought that one back.
Oh wow.
Maybe the problem wasn't the cats.
The problem people.
It was her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think she was a good. Yeah, she's no longer with us, but she was a nice. I think she was nice with cats. But so then I'm now banned. I mean, this happened 20 years ago, so perhaps the statute of limitations. Well, we 20 years ago you brought back a cat.
Yeah.
Are we sure you're a good cat owner? So, anyway, I've went to I have a lot going on recently. I went to a fundraiser for for a charity in town, and I went with a girl, and I went with my sister actually, and we went to the Jefferson Hotel, and the keynote speaker was a guy called Jon Dorenbos. You ever heard of that? I never heard of him.
I haven't heard of him either.
But this guy was something else. He he's in the NFL. He used to be a football player, and I only a football player. How smart could this guy be? We should have won the big game. Actually, he did win the big game. He won for the Eagles. The Eagles won last year, or I mean this year, but like 5 years ago they won before, and he was playing with them. And what happened? But he had quite an interesting story. His youth was interesting. He was a center, which is the guy who hikes the ball.
Oh yeah.
So the quarterback catches it. And wasn't even a full-time center. He was the guy who does it for punts and for kickoffs. So he was very good at doing it far.
Yeah.
So they could hold it down, and the kicker could kick it, or the punter could punt it. So he's in the record books. He was there for something like 14 years, and one of those years he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. He had a Super Bowl ring, which I'll get to in a moment. So anyway, he was a magician too, and he did these great card tricks. He had people out of the audience, and he had a whole routine. He had his whole life story. He wrote a book. His childhood was almost Dickensian. What happened to him, which you read the book, you'll find, or go on his, I guess, Wikipedia page, you'll find out Jon Dorenbos. And when it was over, my sister and I bought his book, and he autographed it, and we got a picture taken with him, and that's now on the internet, the picture of the three of us. Now, what is interesting, though, I'll tell you something that was most interesting about this guy. He had to retire. He's a young guy. I think he's in his 40s now, or late 40s. He he was traded to the Saints, the New Orleans Saints, and they hardly ever, once you're on a team, they don't do unless you're overweight or something. They don't do a lot of checkups on you. Well, they do it once you get on the team, but then after that they let it slide. Well, they did a checkup of this guy, and they said we cannot let you play ever again because you have a swollen heart. Like the aorta or something was the size of a soda can when it's naturally as big as a plum or something. Your own aorta, if it's healthy, and he said, "Is anyone else famous that had the same thing?" He goes, "Yeah, John Ritter, Alan Thicke, and Bill. I forget his name. Not Bill Pullman, the other guy. They all died within a day of having that diagnosed.
Oh wow!
It's like your chest explodes. Yeah. And so they all and so they had emergency surgery. Now he's fine, but it's scary. Yeah. Anyway, I'll remember his name in a moment. The other guy. And so when I spoke to him, when I got to meet him, I actually had to ask him about that. He goes, "That's the worst thing I've ever heard about. Your your heart can explode right in your chest, and you don't even know it." He was in relatively good shape. He's a football player, So anyway, so I got so while other people were getting this picture taken, I grabbed his Super Bowl ring and tried it on. Get it out for anyone who wanted to wear it. And I had my picture taken with the Super Bowl ring. So. It's an Eagles ring, if you're not an Eagles fan. So I'm not an Eagles fan. but it was fun wearing the big ring. Gosh, one of my family members told me a gentleman never wears a diamond ring. She said that he could be Donald Trump or he could be the poorest man in America. And if he gets married, he wears a plain gold band. Only gangsters, and he said the only ring that a man can wear that's full of diamonds is a Super Bowl or World Series ring. So no rings. So anyway, So I saw this. Also, I went to this is a great one. I'll tell you. I went to the GalaxyCon
Oh
since I
wow, I
saw
would
this since
love to
we
go
then.
on.
Yeah, well,
I'll go
it's
next
there.
year.
There's 20,000 people there.
I'm thinking about going next
Well, let's
year.
go. Yeah,
Maybe
I'll
meet
probably. I should be there. Yeah.
maybe meet a celebrity or two. So
Yeah. Well, I met quite a few celebrities, and I tell you who I met. I met Dwight from The Office.
oh yeah.
You know the guy with the
oh
glasses and the.
yeah, yeah.
He said something really funny. He told me that he had that he looks like a regular guy. He doesn't look like Dwight from The Office. You know, kind of nerdish and everything. And
Yeah.
he combed his hair in a. The Office was on in England, and then when the similar character that he played, he asked the original guy, how did you play the part in England? And he says, well, I got myself the worst haircut possible, and that's the part. And then what he didn't realize was the guy who did The Office in England only did 12 episodes. There's only
Does he have an accent?
this guy's an American. His name is actually, I'll tell you his name, Rainn Wilson.
Oh yeah.
And so what happened was so he said he didn't know the show would be on for 10 years, so he had to keep that stupid haircut for 10 years. The other guy had 12 episodes. You can film 12 episodes in like 2 months. The one with Ricky Gervais, the
yeah.
original. But this was the one with Steve Carell.
Yeah.
And he was really something. And so I met him, and I met who else did I meet? I met a lot of friends of ours who were there from the Children's Theater
Oh
was
yeah.
there. I mean, I just ran into them. I was kind of there by myself, but it's good to go to a place like that by yourself because you're going to meet your friends. You're going to meet everyone there,
Yeah.
you know. And I met about a dozen people I knew, and there were other people there I didn't even that I saw in on the internet that they were there. Oh, I wish I would have ran into them. I would have said hello to them. And then once they saw my pictures, they said, "Oh, I wish I would have known Kevin was there. He could have tore it up." I'll tell you who I did go with. I mean, who I spent some time with was. I'll tell you who I saw there. First, as soon as I got there, I saw a question and answer with William Shatner,
Oh yeah.
and then a question and answer with Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, I don't know who he is.
He has a TV show now, the Daredevil. He's the villain on Daredevil, but he's
Oh.
on Law and Order. He's on a lot. He was
Oh,
in
okay.
the Stanley Kubrick. He starred in the Stanley Kubrick film, Full Metal Jacket. You'd know if you saw him. He's in. He mainly talked about what's that show? Men in Black. He's in that Men in Black movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's always he's kind of a weird presence in movies because they always make him look fat or thin or disfigured or something. Oh, is
Yeah.
that this Vincent D'Onofrio? There's one movie I saw with Vincent D'Onofrio. He didn't have a nose. They did
Yeah.
special effects where he just had a hole in his nose, and in most of the scenes he wore like this
Yeah.
little metal nose. But then in a couple of scenes he took it off, and you see his hole in his face.
You know who else was that I
Yeah.
would love to
Who?
met? Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, Weird Al Yankovic was there, but he wasn't. He didn't do the question and answer the day I was there.
Yeah.
So, and I've never seen this before. I didn't really like what they were doing. Weird Al was such a big star that they had a curtain. So if you wanted to see Weird Al and buy his picture or buy his a picture with him or something, you had to go behind this curtain so the regular people couldn't see him. Just snap a picture of him. You try to snap pictures. People
Yeah.
can't. And yeah, I never, even though he was a curtain away from me, I never saw another guy like that was Carrie Elwes, who was in The Princess Bride and Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a pretty good actor, English actor. But I never saw him either. But I did see, I saw Barry Bostwick. I saw Alan Ruck.
Oh
Who
yeah.
else? I saw. Then I saw Vincent D'Onofrio. Then I saw. Um, what else did I see? I saw Martin Sheen and two guys from the West Wing, Bradley Whitford, and I forget the other guy's name, but they were all there. I'll tell you something about them in a moment. And then John Carpenter. Saw
Yeah.
John Carpenter, the director.
Yeah.
He talked about the. He says that he's having a hard time getting movies made today because they think of him as an old timer. He was the guy who made all these great horror movies. In fact, he actually was turned down recently for writing the music. He writes music too. He writes music to a lot of his movies. And the Death of a Unicorn. He said they turned down his score, which is awful, and that because they said it was too John Carpenter like, which makes no sense at all. That's why you hire him for. You hire Dolly Parton because she sings like Dolly Parton, not because she sings like like Louis Armstrong or something. This is what you're getting. Okay. So I saw. Okay. So then I'm seeing this guy who was very fascinating. His name was Sid Croft.
Oh yeah.
And he created all these shows from the 1970s and 80s, like the Donnie Marie show, H.R. Puff and stuff, and everything. And that was interesting. But in the middle of that, I get a call from the guy I was with, who was actually my nephew, and he says, "I'm just a few feet away from Martin Sheen. Are you going to come?" And I said, "I'm kind of busy. I've already met Martin Sheen. I actually was in a movie with him years ago."
Oh, lots about him.
Oh yeah. So, and I already saw him on the stage.
Yeah.
I'd left that to do something else, and so I went to see. So cell phones are a great thing at these places because there's so much to see, and you can get lost. So you say, "Where are you?" Well, I'm at the hot dog stand. I'm at the I'm at the William Shatner stand or something. So I go, and Martin Sheen is talking to people. And we just wanted to talk to him, but we didn't get a chance to talk to him. I'll tell you why. Because there's always somebody there, and if you're paying, we didn't have any money. If there anyone with money in their hand to buy an autograph or a picture or something, they get right in front of you. He says, if there's no one left, then you could come. And we waited like 20 minutes, and really, I mean, we were impatient. We had other things to do. So he said, I said, this line is not going anywhere. I tell you why. It's their job to keep the line long. Because the people that have no one at their stand, you kind of feel sorry for them. Don't they have any fans? But if you have one or two people, you try to keep the line like so people come. Oh, I see people. I see people like to talk to this guy. I want to talk to this guy. Eventually, my nephew says, "Listen, I'll get a picture with him." So we got a picture with him, and we talked to him a little while. What my nephew wanted to show Martin Sheen was a picture that was taken 30 some years ago of him in a movie that I was in with him, and there's a picture of the two of us, and he was very nice. Oh, wow. And he said, "Gosh," I said, "look how young we are," because his hair is all white, and I'm a little whiter. And he said, "What movie was this?" I said, "Kennedy." It was a miniseries where he played John Kennedy. It was actually a pretty good miniseries, and it didn't have so much scandal in it. It was mainly what John Kennedy was like. I remember Vincent Gardenia was J. Edgar Hoover, and somebody else, Blair Brown, who was a popular singer, actress at the time. She was Jackie Kennedy, the wife.
So when can you get tickets for GalaxyCon for next year?
You can buy them right now. In fact, earlier you buy them, you get 20% off, 25% off. I'm
thinking about getting them maybe in January.
Yeah. Well, you got to see who's going to be there. And it was almost up to that week. They get new people. Some people quit. Some people. This is the sad part about this, is that a lot of those people haven't worked in years. Not because they're bad actors or because they're doing other things. No one picks up the phone and calls them to be in these movies. There's certain directors like Quentin Tarantino or John Waters or that will call them and want them in their movie because they liked them when they were younger. Like that's how John Travolta got the part in Pulp Fiction. He couldn't get a good job at that point, and then that brought him back. That was his comeback. So. A lot of these guys are old. I can't remember the last time I saw William Shatner in anything substantial. Probably that Boston Legal show. And they're happy to talk about their old stuff and everything. John Carpenter said the worst movie he ever made. It wasn't that it was a terrible movie. It's just that he hated making the film about the Invisible Man with Chevy Chase because Chevy Chase was insufferable to work with. And I've actually met Chevy Chase, and he was insufferable just to meet. The only trouble I've had with a celebrity, but all celebrities have been nice to me up to now. And Martin Sheen was and I told you how they don't really work so much. They had the two guys from The West Wing, and they said the last, they usually an interviewer before there's questions of the audience, and he goes, "What are you guys up to in the next year or so?" And he said, one of the guys says, "I'm going to be in a Broadway musical coming up later this year. They're writing it now." And he goes, "Oh, that's great, that's great."
Yeah.
And then the other guy said, "Oh, I'm in an independent movie. It's going to be at the Sundance Film Festival. It's a slow budget film, but I have a big part in it, and that's what I'm going to be doing." And then they asked Martin Sheen, who's actually been around, has been working since the early 1960s. They said, "Well, what are you doing, Martin?" And he says, and he's like 80 years old now. He says, "I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to be going to his Broadway musical. I'm going to be enjoying that guy's low budget film," meaning he has nothing going on. So yeah, a lot of these guys, they don't. They don't. It's very hard for them to get work. It's awful. You want a life in show business. You either have to put on your own show like us, or you have to wait by the phone. And something like auditions are 90. They claim even the best actors, 98% of the actors, uh, 98% of the auditions you're gonna be rejected for.
Yeah.
Be an extra is fine, but if you want a part, it's very hard to get parts in movies at Broadway and Hollywood. But you can do local stuff, and you can learn your craft like we have.
Yeah.
I'm tired of learning my craft. Enough already. Anyway, we have a friend. Keith Van Allen.
Yeah.
Okay, Keith Van Allen. Yeah, Keith. You know Keith.
I met him at the Beauty and the Beast show.
Yeah. He's great. Well, I haven't heard from Keith in a while, and not that I think we've just been doing other things. And Keith called me up the day before GalaxyCon on the phone, and we talked for probably an hour. We love talking to each other. And in fact, Keith is actually my father's favorite of all my friends. He's the funniest man I know. But and thus it was the funniest man my dad knew personally was the Keith Van Allen. Keith is a funny.
He did a picture of him too.
Yes, he did a painting of him. Yeah, I think we've shown I think I've shown it. It's on the internet. But anyway, oh yeah, that was so wonderful. And Dad, before he passed away, got to see that painting, so that was great. He died, I think, once I gave it once Keith gave it to my dad. I think my dad passed away like 2 or 3 days later or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but that was great. Yeah. So anyway, Keith. But some people are kind of funny, and I don't know if Keith was kidding or not. I don't think he was kidding. He's written a script, and and I have a big part of it and everything. But he has to get it produced, all right?
Yeah.
So he told me, Kevin, can you drop by and pick up the script? I want you to give it to William Shatner. I said, William Shatner, you want in the show, yeah, in your movie, because he doesn't have it's not a big part. He's an old man, so he's probably I don't want to tax him. He's not going to have to be the star. And I said, this is before I went to the GalaxyCon. I said, and Martin Sheen's going to be there too. He's much younger than probably 20 years younger than William Shatner. And he said, "Oh, you can give it to him too, if Shatner doesn't want it." He says that he's showed that he's put it on. He's put it on a private messenger or something to people on the internet. He says Jack Nicholson is interested, and I said, Jack Nicholson is interested in your your script. He goes, "Yeah, I went on his Facebook page," and he said, "I said I don't think Jack Nicholson has a Facebook page. I don't think Jack Nicholson even knows that this Facebook page of his exists." And as far as William Shatner and Martin Sheen, there's two things at play here. William Shatner and Martin Sheen and Jack Nicholson. These guys are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
They, you do not want to roll the dice with your script, thinking that these guys, all three of these guys, or even one of these guys, is going to be the guy that's going to carry it over the finish line to get it made.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think he thought, I just told you all that nonsense about me standing in line and not even getting a chance to talk to these guys unless I paid the money or something. He thinks I was just hanging out with these guys, like it was this big party. Oh, Bill, here's a script, and here's a drink, and here's some have some have some have some macadamia nuts. It wasn't this going on here,
Yeah.
and the costumes he were wearing and everything. So
Yeah.
so I said, I tell you what you should do. You should get the link to your script and put it on one of those business cards
Yeah.
and your phone number and your name on there, and then just hand it to people and just say,
Yeah.
read my script.
Yeah.
Call me up. Yeah, if you want to. I mean, there's a movie called Ed Wood about making like the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp was in it. Tim Burton film. It was a very good movie. And you see this is back in the late 40s, early 50s. He just getting money for these low budget films we made, and one of them was he had to get everyone. A church was sponsoring one of his producing one of his movies, and part of the deal was all of the cast members had to be baptized into the faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
When that's what it takes to get the $10,000 to make this movie in those days. Yeah.
Well, everybody, it's time for a break now. We will be back in 30 minutes. May God bless you. Take care.